Hello, investors. It's Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Monday, September 29th, 2025, 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Come to tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. And you're hearing from me today because it is the one and only Don Vandenberg's birthday today. So giving him the day off from the video today, and I will be covering it. So wish him a happy birthday if you haven't. Market state, we are in an uptrend since those follow through days. Take a look at the trend gauge on the right side of the screen. Market leaders still with a green arrow and a yellow sub arrow, and that's just due to the fact that some market leaders aren't recovering as strong as you would like as a bull, and also because four names got cut from the 21 over 21 list this week, which I'll cover, and then also five names got cut from the Turbo 12 list as well. So that's potentially a sign, although there's still a handful of stocks that still act great. Short term, all major indexes are above the 21 EMA, mid caps are lagging, medium term above the 50-day moving average, and long term above the 200-day moving average. What happened today? Kind of got a Monday morning gap up and kind of faded, closed near the low end of the range, although still positive on the day. Here are the final numbers: 21 over 21 list up 2.44%, 18 green, 3 red, largely due to Hood being up double digits today. Turbo 12 up 2.8, 10 green, 2 red. Big 8 up 0.32%, RG8 up 0.89%, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.23%, flagship portfolio GROTECTION up 0.82%, and then TurboTection up 0.19%. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. And to try the S&P 500, and pretty constructive. I said, we gapped up and then kind of closed mid-range, didn't really fall through, but again, closed back above the 8 and the 21. So as long as these 825 lows hold are critical along with the 21 EMA, but also another way to look at this could potentially be a lower high. So that's something to watch out for. But again, keeping it simple, as long as these lows hold, um, you know, market, stay risk on. RSP potentially trying to gear up for a breakout from this big base, undercut and reclaim, and then this 190s, the last pivot, that'd be positive. This could break out. Qs again, similar thing, gapped up and then kind of trended lower for the day. But again, same thing here, as long as the 21 EMA and these September 25th lows hold, looks like the market's in good shape. Mags continue to be strong. Dow Jones Industrial Average continued higher after breaking out of this nice base. S&P midcaps relative weakness closing below the 21 EMA and again failed at this 3,300 base breakout line. But as long as this 50-day holds and this 925 lows looks in good shape, potentially just needs to handle out a little bit below. Russ 2000 continuing higher after bouncing off the 21 EMA and closing just a hair above the 8. And again, 2466 was kind of this big left side high. So rejected there, pulling back, and now starting to form a handle. So to me, that's very bullish. Small caps, like how this is acting actually. And historically, the next into the end of the year is very, very strong for small cap seasonality wise. So we'll see if that can be a tailwind. ARC relative strength here today. New highs on the day. Coinbase was up nicely. That's Kathy Woods holding. Even Tesla was down. So notable relative strength here. And, a lot of people still hate on Kathy, but this is clearly in a stage two uptrend. Had plenty of time to short it. This went down from 2021 all the way down to really 2023. And we always talk about stage analysis. You had this really nice stage one base, and now this is in the stage two uptrend. So this continues to look great. FFTY closing back above the 8 EMA. VIX up a little bit today, but still below 18. The dollar potentially trying to bottom out here. Potentially kind of like a VCP-ish, although, maybe potential third contraction. But again, this is in a bigger picture downtrend, but perhaps showing some signs of bottoming out. Gold, uh, precious metals, commodities continue to act amazing. GDX again, another new highs today. Silver joining the party here, following through very strongly from this base breakout. And you can see this is at go to the monthly, still below 2011 highs. But again, big picture, this looks like it wants to make a run for new all-time highs. Bitcoin, some relative strength here today. And actually, I want to talk about this chart because a couple ways to look at it, right? You had this breakout here, right? And for a 6 to 12 month base, only 3 days of follow through is rather weak. And this was on the heels of multiple catalysts, super pro administration, less regulation, what everything you could really want. Weak follow through, then it kind of came back in, put in another failed breakout attempt, came back in, put in a lower high and now rallying back up into the 50-day moving average. So that's something to watch out for. Again, kind of in no man's land here, declining 50-day moving average. I'd be surprised if the shot right back up to highs. So potentially this is just in another basing period, or this is another lower high before moving lower. Bonds falling through off the 21 TLT as well, and that coincides with rates cooling down, potentially rolling lower. And this could see some more into the next rate cut, see some rotation back into some of these rate sensitive stocks. All right, that's the interasset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Percent of stocks with a 5-day moving average up to 61 now. On the news front this week, tomorrow we have JOLTS, Wednesday ADP numbers, and then Friday the employment report. So handful of economic data this week. Today's keys, all green arrows across the board. S&P above the 8 and 21, same with the Qs and same with the Russell 2000. And going into tomorrow, going to be watching the same stuff. Those have been pretty much stayed same for a while, and that's just really kind of type of market that we've been in. 2 days above the 8 EMA, 20 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, ARC, Bitcoin, China, gold, tech, builder, semiconductors on weakness, energy, oil, regional banks, and retail. GROTECTION today added to NBIS and bought CRDO. RVAB 1.47, balance at risk minus 5.87%. TurboTaction bought a positions in NVIDIA and ETHA 1.67 beta, 4.98% balance at risk. Monday morning gap and fade. And is the government shutdown something to worry about? That will be figured out on Wednesday, I believe. So that's something to keep an eye out for, on the macro front. All right, let's get into some charts. GROTECTION today added to NBIS. Good action after holding the 8 EMA, and then GROTECTION also about to start on CRDO. Bit of a weaker close, but again, as long as these lows hold, it's fine. TurboTaction added a position in NVIDIA, potentially trying to break out of a 10-week base, power through with the moving averages, then also bought a position in Ethereum. Big undercut and reclaim of this $30 level and confirming back with the 50-day moving average. So we'll see how that acts into the rest of the week. 21 over 21 list. So Robinhood, monster day up almost 13%, and just winners tend to keep on winning. And this has been a big leader off the lows and just really getting an expansion candle today. Additions and subtractions. MP was cut, SE Limited was cut, A-Lab was cut, and CRDO. And then ads were NVIDIA, Snow, LEU, and Micron. APP potentially starting to get a little bit exhaustive, pretty extended, no man's land for a new buy. But again, since this S&P 500 inclusion, it's been strong. Carvana potential cup and handle base, see if it can break out through 400. STX, these computer data storage stocks were on a tear again today. This one was up 5%. Micron having setting up post earnings continuation flag looks pretty good. DoorDash breaking higher out of this little cup and handle pivot. LEU, this was added to the 21 over 21 list. It's been super strong. One of the only pure play nuclear enrichment stocks. NBIS looking good above the 8. NVIDIA, again, this was added and bought in TurboTaction today. See if it can fall through tomorrow. CoreWeave kind of flagging here. Again, doing nothing wrong. Strong move up off the lows and first pullback into 21. So this should hold. This is going to go higher. First Solar, really nice base. Just kind of really nice big base here, potentially trying to break out. And solar has been really strong. GDX continuing higher, net potentially, flagging out here at the 21 day. Reddit finding resistance at the 21. Again, kind of in no man's land. 250 is the spot. Low end of the range is kind of down here at 200, 205. Palantir, this one's starting to look pretty constructive. 190 is the kind of the breakout, but again, setting in a nice tight handle here in this cup and handle base. Tesla continues to be really strong, exhibiting perfect breakout action since this, 360, 370, what have you, breakout level and continues to ride the 8 EMA higher. Arista Networks got a downtrend line here from the high. See if that can break out. Snow, this was also added into the 21 over 21 list. Uh, you know, 230's a big spot as well. MDB getting super tight right at the 21 day. Looks good. SoFi sitting right at the 21 day. Valero, this is one in the energy and oil that's been acting pretty well. Alrighty, that's the 21 over 21 list. Let's take a look at Turbo 12. We removed Wayfair, Tempest AI, AAOI, Rocket Lab, and Unity, and ads were SoundHound, BMNR, Baidu, Micron, and SCCO. Irene, this one continues to hold up extremely well. Not doing anything wrong, just riding the AEMA higher. BMNR reclaimed, trying to reclaim all the moving averages today, and with Ethereum starting to hold that 4,000 spot. This one is trading at 1.25 net asset value, and it is your basically levered Ethereum play. So this has got a big base. This is rounding out pretty nicely. So keep an eye on it. BE, after that sharp pullback, back above all key moving averages, pretty choppy. I could like to see this kind of handle out here. Just did fill that gap and rejected the bear gap. So, either hand. So we'll see how it reacts. Kind of that was the key spot. That was the bounce from the oversold, and now it's not as oversold. So we'll see if it can handle out there. Carmen Holdings, very strong name in a strong group, just kind of gapping up. And the profit zone extended now. Micron flagging after earnings. Again, really nice estimates going forward across, the earnings and sales growth and, not a very expensive stock at a 19 PE. SCCO, this one is a copper stock and with commodities strong, right? You got gold, silver, potentially copper is going to start to rally as well. And this one's at the highs coming out of a big base. So when you see some of these commodities breaking out of big bases, it's always worth paying attention to. And METC, this is another one just riding really nice. This was kind of an ascending base breakout that it had right here, followed through and now flagging here right off the 8 EMA as well. Baidu, this one's got a high tight flag set up. China's been super strong. I've mentioned it in videos before. KWeb and FXI are outperforming US markets. China gets a lot of hate, but again, performance is performance. And this Baidu's had a big move and now starting to flag out. And another one, we own this in TurboTax, Baba, just making another new high today. Look at the KWeb chart, looking good at the highs. FXI, another one right at the highs. China looks really good. PDD, this is another one, pretty cheap name, 13 PE. But again, this one also got a nice looking base, see if it can break out. But broad participation in China right now. CRDO, close rate below the 21, but again, about 1%. So we'll see there. PAAS, silver name acting well. It continues to print new highs. SoundHound, 4-day pullback to the 21 with downtrend line. See if this can break out tomorrow. And then IONQ starting to pull back. Got a little pretty extended from the space breakout, right? Like almost 2 weeks of trading just straight up on huge volume, but now it's pulling back. So we'll see if this tags that 60 spot or the 21 EMA and see if that provides support for the stock to bounce. So that's why we had the yellow cautionary on for leaders, fair amount of changes to the 21 over 21 list and the Turbo 12. But again, S&P holding above the 21 EMA and this 925 low, no reason not to be bullish. Entering bullish seasonality, that's another thing to keep an eye out for. But again, keep an eye out for the government gets shut down and then also slew of economic data to end the week. So that's kind of what we're watching right now. And yeah, that is all. So, that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. You can email me at connor@revereasset.com or reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates _. Phone is 855-REAL-WEALTH, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching and see you tomorrow.